La Bamba. That's right, folks. We are here to talk about what I believe is the first music biopic we're discussing in Movie Tales. I'd have to go back and check. It is a genre that I have been scared to cover. A lot of like biopic stuff I'm kind of nervous about talking about because it opens up a lot more real world things we have to discuss, and some of it's factual, some of it's not. But I recently bought the Criterion for this movie. It is one that has been on my radar forever, but I've never seen. Part of the reason I never saw it was because of the day the music died. um, I think that event is just so like ingrained in popular culture, and I get really sad just thinking about the lives of the men who were aboard that plane. They were all so young, and you're just like, so much could have come from them if things went differently. So I've never been like, I gotta see this one. But I always knew I was gonna like it. This is the type of music I like, kind of that like just beginning early number of like the blues mixed with the rock, mixed with the folk stuff. Everything's coming together in like this really beautiful number. He was definitely an inspiration for a lot of people and revolutionized the type of music. His voice, for being a guy so young, was so influential and important. And that's another thing why I think that this biopic works is the span of time between him getting recognized to going on tour is so short. This kid passed away at 17 years old. And in that time, it wasn't even like he was touring for years on end. Like, it was the start of him potentially becoming this big name, and he died so young. I think there is a story to tell there, and it's really hard to authentically do that without the film being about, look at this kid who never had it. It could be kind of miserable in that aspect. This movie doesn't feel miserable, but I will remind you, the events that are in this film are very tragic, and you're gonna leave feeling really bad. If you're not familiar with the concept of the day the music died, just look it up. Don McLean wrote a song about it. A bunch of young men who were touring together get on a plane, and the plane crashes, and they all die. Ritchie Valens is among them. He's the figure we're going to be talking about today in La Bamba. Now, La Bamba, you are probably familiar with the song. I'm not going to sing it for you because I don't know the lyrics, but it is a song that has become almost synonymous with my local hockey team. You won't be able to tell from the hat I'm wearing, but my local hockey team, if there is a big victory for us, it's an NHL team, I should say. So it'll, like, kind of docks where I live a bit in Canada. They play La Bamba when there's a big victory. It's a big thing that happens. There's reasons for it. So this song is ingrained in my brain all the time. This tragedy is ingrained in my brain of all time. So let's get into this film. This film that I really liked. I really liked everything we are doing here. I was so pleasantly surprised. And when it comes to biopic stuff, the formulaic nonsense of just this kid's special, people scout him out, he gets talented and like goes on his way. It's so formulaic. But the thing about this movie, and it's the key thing that makes this movie a little more special than some of the other biopics about musicians, is Ritchie doesn't get to have the long storied career that others do. It is cut short before we get to see the second act of his career, or the third act of his career. He doesn't even get the first act, really. So it's the 50s. It's this kind of idyllic version of California. We have the Valenzuela family. It's a single mother, and she's got a couple kids that she's looking out for, and she's got two sons. One of them is going to be Ritchie Valens, and he's just like this young kid who's really eager to help out his mother, be a part of the family. He's always carrying a guitar around with him, which I really love. I love that energy. Oh, this is a kid who just sees the world as something he could still conquer. I think that's really lovely. Every shot where it's just Ritchie walking down the streets and he's just with his guitar looking at a beautiful world, it just really works for me. I really respond to that. It just looked really cool. And he's got an older brother named Bob. Now, Bob is just getting out of prison. for something that he blames his mom for sending him there because she kind of ratted him out. And it's the other smart thing about this movie. These are young guys. These are so young of guys. And it's the conflict between Ritchie getting successful and Bob feeling spiteful that he never got anywhere. And it makes the chemistry and the dynamic just really work between them, because the entire time Ritchie just wants to see the thing in his brother that he knows is there. He wants his brother to see that too. And Bob is just unwilling to take some of the chances or be anything less than a deadbeat and a drunk. And it's really interesting how that dynamic plays throughout the movie. A little on the nose, but I think if you are an older sibling and you see your younger sibling reach the success that you want and get the accolades that you want, jealousy will brew. And that's a very relatable and very realistic thing that this movie depicts. But at the start of this film, the Valenzuela family is kind of living in rough times. Bob comes back and promises them better ideas. So he's going to move them deeper into California so they can actually live in a proper neighborhood. Let's talk about our actors a little bit. We got a really great cast here. Lou Diamond Phillips plays Ritchie Valens. It is an incredible performance. He just embodies this type of thing that's just, this is an optimistic kid about the future of America. He is just so happy, so aware of it. He loves the world around him. He's so positive towards everybody. The beginning of this film, he likes this girl named Rosie, played by Elizabeth Pena, and you think they're going to get together, but she ends up with Bob, and he's just like, that's the circumstance now. I'm going to move on. I'm going to meet my girl Donna Ludwig, and I'm just going to go on with the rest of the world. He is so optimistic. And Lou Diamond Phillips is just so good at doing that. He's got the smile. He's got the swagger. This kid is talented. You look at both the actor and the character being portrayed here, and you're like, that is a special person. That is just not some average guy walking down the street. There is something here that you can see. So it's incredible to see that. Esai Morales plays Bob, and you just get all of it right from the beginning. You understand that this guy is cocky, he's loud, he doesn't have it together, but he needs to be the top dog. He wants to be the guy who's the most important person in the world, and he's never going to be that. The movie does a really good job of channeling his story, and you see every different angle where he's like, okay, if my brother's going to be more successful than me, I want to help him do the things that I know he can't do himself, like meet a girl and get laid. Maybe if I follow my own creative projects, I like to do art and I'm kind of a good cartoonist, if I follow that, maybe it'll lead me somewhere. But he can never fully commit the way that Ritchie can. And it makes it so interesting. Just so interesting to see that. And I also want to shout out Rosanna DeSoto, who plays their mother, Connie. She is just so good. Just the supporting character that shows up, tells you everything you need to understand what's going on, how we're supposed to feel. It just works so well. And then a majority of this movie is just let's listen to this cool guy play some good music. And it's such a short period where this stuff happens. He always has the guitar with him. He joins a local band at his school when he moves to this new neighborhood. He quickly upstages the lead singer because he's more talented. And he just starts to get more gigs. People are starting to like him. His mom is like, I'm going to help you get to this position where people are going to listen to your music. They rent a little place in Town Hall, and they have their first big concert there. The Ritchie Valens and his flying guitar concert. And it's not the Ritchie Valens name, he goes by Valenzuela throughout it. But you know what I mean. So he's doing this concert and he's kind of succeeding at it, and then his brother comes in and ruins it because he's drunk, brings his rowdy friends, and things don't go well. And that is the story. It's this kid rising to the top while his brother sinks lower to the bottom, and how do you balance that out? And it's really smart because Ritchie doesn't hate his brother. He's not mad at him for failing. He's like, I know you can do it. I want to see you do it. When he gets the news of someone wants to put out my record, he's right there saying Bob did something good today too. They really show you this is an idyllic kid who's really optimistic about the world and has the world at his fingertips. There's a whole subplot with him and Donna Ludwig where he just meets this girl. They start to hang out. They kind of fall in love. Her dad doesn't like that he's Mexican, and he writes a song about her because they have to stay apart. And that's how we get the song Donna. There's not a lot of songs that Ritchie Valens is famous for because, again, it's in that era where there was only a couple of songs that existed, so everyone would do their version of it. And he was only 17. He didn't write every single song that is available to you. It's just so interesting. I'm just like this is the best type of this type of movie. You got the actors so aware of like the preservation of this kid. The entire time we are aware of what's going to happen. We know where this is headed. And it's just showing you how important music was to this kid, how important his family and love was to this kid. He just wants to rise to the top only because he wants to take care of his family. The moment he starts making money and he's putting out his records, he's like, I'm buying a house for my mother and I'm trying to keep her happy and I'm trying to keep my siblings happy, and he just wants to take care of everybody. And he's so young. And it's so weird to think about that because it's such a historical thing. Like, this happened in the 50s. But this was a kid who was a teenager who was providing for his family. And then, because his tour bus was cold one night, gets on a plane and loses his life. It's so tragic in ways that other things aren't, because you can only imagine what the future would have held for this kid and everyone else on the plane. It's so tragic because this whole movie knows how to play with those feelings. It is just keeping you entertained, excited, and jumping with joy. The music is good. The vocal recordings are good. Every time we're in studio, we're watching Joey Pantoliano just like help this guy get to where he needs to go. You're excited because this is it. We're watching a star being made, and you're believing it and supporting it and fully aware that this kid has it. There isn't a single moment where you're like, oh, he has to struggle to get where he is. The first time he performs in front of like the band in the garage, you're like, oh, this guy's special. His mom gets him to work at a local bar. He's like, oh, this is special. They rent town hall. This kid is special. He's performing all over the place. This kid is special. The actual like number when we hear La Bamba for the first time, where he's playing it, we hear it earlier in the film when Bob's trying to get him to like get laid. It's a really cool moment, which it just speaks to this is a child, and this is his hyperfixation. He likes music. His brother's literally thrown him into a room with these women willing to sleep with you. His brother's obsessed with that notion because it's like the one thing of power he has over his brother, but Ritchie doesn't care. He's just, they're playing La Bamba right now. I want to like jam with those guys, which is, it's just like a weird place to go. You just walk into a big room. I guess it's, what you'd call a brothel. I guess those were still around sort of in the 50s, but like, they just had a band playing there. That's kind of weird, but I guess that happens too. Just the rise to power. So when he first hears it, you're just like, oh, this is going to become his inspiration for everything later. And then when he actually plays it, oof, it just hits so hard. I don't know how deep into the weeds we need to get on every single part of this story, because it's pretty standard of like, this is a kid rising to his fame. He gets the record deal. He makes the records. He's on the radio. He provides for his family. The real tension is between him and his brother, which is very well handled. The brother becomes a deadbeat father who is literally drunk and screaming that his mother never loved him and only loves Ritchie. He can never be better than his little brother, that is painful. And Isai Morales plays that so well. He plays that so well because when the time comes, when like the very end of the movie comes and you have to see this guy's reaction to everything that happened, it makes the pain all the more real. Because he loves Ritchie too. He loves him so much, and like his brother is no longer with him. So the final scene of the movie is just him screaming for Ritchie into the sky, and there's nobody there to answer. And that just makes it really tragic and beautiful. Incredible performances, man. This was just perfect in every conceivable way. And yes, the movie, because we know what we're doing here, and the one thing I think anybody who knows about maybe Buddy Holly or Ritchie Valens is the tragedy in their death. The movie ends there. We see like the winter dance tour that's coming up. We hear that the bus isn't having the proper heat, so it's getting really cold in there. We hear that Buddy Holly chartered a plane. We see everyone's about to get on the plane. We see there's a heads and tails coin flip, and Richie's the one who gets to go on the plane. We see them take off, and then we cut back to the family, and we cut back to Donna, and we cut back to everybody that's been in Richie's life when they just hear it on the radio, which is where you would hear it. There's no internet, there's no other news source. It's just gonna be you are hanging your laundry out to dry. You have the radio playing because your son's music is on the radio, and then you hear that your 17-year-old son, your 17-year-old boyfriend, your 17-year-old brother died in a plane crash along with 3 other men, and you're just like, holy shit. How do you even respond or exist? It would destroy you. It'd be so destructive. You could never feel anything. Like, if that's where you got the news from, hearing it on the radio, I can't even imagine how painful that would feel. And that's how this movie has to end. The entire time it is giving us these beautiful hits, this amazing music, this perfect vision of America where everything's sunny and beautiful, California vibes, everyone's happy and in love. And then at the very end, just takes it away. And I think Lou Diamond Phillips does an incredible job of portraying every single thing he needs to. And this is one of the best in the genre of the musical biopic. La Bamba is kind of incredible, and I'm so glad we're talking about it. I love music. I don't normally get to talk about music, but this is also a huge era for me in terms of like the influences and the types of rock music that were forming. And La Bamba's a great song, and arguably Ritchie Valens is the best person to perform that song. We'll see if that ever changes, but I doubt it. I doubt it. Like, this is it. This is magical. This is one of the most influential guys in music, and he was a child, and that is just unbelievable. You can only imagine what would have come from it. So that's La Bamba. If you haven't seen this one, I do recommend watching it. It is so beautiful and fun. But thank you all for watching this episode of Dramatic Tales. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And of course, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck. Play La Bamba, baby.